Okay, we're going to continue today's talk of our explorers, and we're going to explore the English and the Dutch explorers. Now, Spain was growing rich with all of its goods it was getting from the New World, all its explorations. And what that did, it made these other countries like England, France, and Holland, it made them jealous. They wanted some of the riches that Spain was getting. So what they did is they started to look for a sea route to Asia. Except they had a different approach to this. They went north, and they were looking for something called a Northwest Passage. One of these explorers was this man, John Cabot, and he was an Italian. He was from Italy. He was Italian, but he sailed for England. They hired him to sail for them. And while he was looking for the Northwest Passage, he landed on Newfoundland, and that's off the coast of Canada. He, however, thought he was in Asia. That wasn't the case. He was, however, one of the first English or Italian navigators to set foot in North America. His second voyage, he took off with 5 boats. One boat instantly turned around, and he was left with 4 boats, and those 4 boats and Mr. Cabot were never seen again. Another sailor we're going to talk about is this man, Henry Hudson. Now Hudson had I guess he explored quite a bit, but his end wasn't that great. He was an English navigator, and he was looking for the Northwest Passage. Except Henry Hudson had an interesting way of traveling. He went up to the North Pole. What he thought up there was it had constant sunshine, so there had to be a lot of open water. And as you know, there's not. It's cold, and he had 2 very unsuccessful trips to the North Pole. But Henry Hudson wasn't done. He got hired by Holland for a trip. Now, on that trip that Holland hired him for, he sailed off the coast of Maine and eventually went up a river. And it is now named the Hudson River. And the colony that eventually got founded there, thanks to his explorations, became New York City. He met some Native Americans while traveling and treated them poorly. There's stories that he actually brought Native Americans back with him. So finally, on this trip, his last trip, he was hired by England again. And he sailed along Canada's northern coast. And up there he came across an open body of water, which he named the Hudson Bay. He named a lot of things after himself. And they spent a winter there, him and his crew, in that Hudson Bay. And after a long winter, the crew mutinied. And mutinied is underlined here, you can see. And what mutinied means is, or to mutiny, is that the crew rebels against its captain. They either get rid of the captain, or they convince the captain to turn around. And in this case, the crew placed him in a small little boat and left him there in the Hudson Bay that bears his name. So that is our talk on the English and Dutch explorers, and soon we will be going into the French.